Finding New Films Self Tapes. I should have said FNF Self Tapes, but I didn't. But that's what it stands for. It stands for Finding New Films Self Tapes. Yeah, I blanked for 1 second, but I'm right back. I want to say one thing right off the top of this show. I probably don't need to say this, but I don't know. I feel weird running a show about movies and not saying something. I fully stand with the writers and actors that are currently on strike. Just want to put that out there. Fully on board with that, and I hope that they are able to get the restitutions they believe that they are owed, and I believe that they are owed it as well for entertaining all of us and keeping us all in a peace of mind or a chaos of mind, depending on what it is you like. And all that being said, solidarity to those striking currently in New York, Los Angeles, wherever you are striking. So just wanted to get that out of the way. I feel weird doing a podcast about movies. I don't make money doing this though, so I I would feel differently if I were like in Squarespace, but I am not quite there yet. But if I were getting paid for it, I don't know what I would do. I'm not getting paid, so I don't have to worry about that, right? Heyo, more money, more problems. Anyways, we're gonna get into the show now. So this week I chose to review the film Love and Basketball. This film came out in 2000. It was produced by 40 Acres and a Mule Filmworks. The runtime on this movie was 124 minutes. It was written and directed by Gina Prince-Bythewood. It was edited by Terrelyn A. Shropshire. Music was done by Terrence Blanchard. The camera work was done by Reynaldo Villalobos, and the stars of the film were Sanaa Lathan and it's either Sanaa. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. I'm so sorry. And then Omar Epps as well. And yeah, we're gonna jump right into the plot though. And the plot is as follows. Okay. The story is divided into 4 quarters, each one representing a different period in the lives of the protagonists. The first quarter takes place in 1981 when Monica and Quincy are children and become friends due to their shared love for basketball. Monica proves to be an excellent player, beating Quincy in their first game of one-on-one. However, their friendship is threatened when Quincy knocks Monica down during a game and accidentally cutting her face. They reconcile and share a kiss, but their relationship is complicated. The second quarter is set in 1988 when Monica and Quincy are attending Crenshaw High School. Quincy is a star basketball player and Monica is the leader of the girls' basketball team. Quincy is popular and dates the prettiest girls in school, while Monica struggles to control her emotions on the court and harbors feelings for Quincy. However, they manage to connect romantically and make love after both being accepted to the University of Southern California, also known as USC. The third quarter begins when they start college, and Quincy is a promising player on the court, while Monica frequently has run-ins with her head coach Ellie Davis and struggles to get playing time on the women's team. Quincy struggles to deal with the media attention and discovers his father's infidelity. The pressures of their athletic and academic commitments, coupled with their deteriorating relationship, cause them to break up. The fourth quarter of the plot follows the plot to 1993, a few years before the establishment of the WNBA. Monica and Quincy are both professional basketball players. Monica plays for an IBWA team, which is the International Basketball Women's Association, Basketball Women's Association. She plays for FC Barcelona. And while Quincy is in his 5th year as a player for the Los Angeles Lakers. After visiting Quincy in the hospital following a devastating knee injury, Monica learns he is engaged to be married. She also confronts her mother Camille about their troubled past. Quincy recovers from his injury and his wedding draws closer while Monica quits basketball to work at a bank. Camille encourages Monica to pursue her dreams, and Quincy and Monica play a high-stakes one-on-one game, with Quincy agreeing to call off the wedding if he loses. Although Quincy wins, and he realizes he can't live without Monica and chooses her instead. The two get married and have a daughter, with Monica eventually playing in the WNBA. In a post-credit scene, Quincy and Monica's daughter is shown playing basketball at a playground. The themes of this movie are betrayal, chance, coming of age, dedication, disillusionment, family, fate, feminism, human nature, identity, jealousy, love and sacrifice, man versus self, maturity, passion, wealth, winning and losing. And that was Love and Basketball 2000. So I'm just going to read these first two thoughts right off the top because I want to get this page flipped over. So I enjoyed that the film was told in quarters. I thought it gave a really cool depth to the movie, and it gave it a very clear, concise way to tell the story. And for a first-time filmmaker, I think it really simplified how she told the story. And it ultimately did nothing but help her, and that's the only reason that I mention it. And I really enjoyed it because of the obvious, tie-in to 4 quarters of basketball and whatnot. And anyways, I don't need to explain that. And then the music of this film is nothing but needle drops. It is nothing but popular music. I don't know how much of the movie really is score. It's mostly, from what I remember watching the movie, it was just like songs, which is fine. I think it added to the overall vibe. But there is some times where it's like, and especially in a romance movie, where I kind of want like a vibe setter, and I don't know. Sometimes just R&B underneath is not what I was looking for. But that's probably just me. Anyways, I'm gonna move on from that. My next note here says these 11-year-olds have the social awareness of 6-year-olds. This could also just be a me thing. Maybe I just don't, I don't know. I don't talk to children very often, if at all, at this point. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm just out of touch with children, like modern day children, or, what their sensibilities are. I mean, these are obviously kids from the 90s, so they don't really, it's just pre-internet, or kids from the 80s, really. So this is way pre-internet. This is actually pre-internet, not like pre-popular internet. This is like actually like pre the invention of the internet. So maybe we just had different sensibilities. Probably do. Probably definitely do. I assume that they had to cast kids that were older than the parts. And that may have been why it felt so awkward and stale, because it's kids that are like more intelligent saying lines that were meant for younger kids, and I think that may have been why that was affected. Nevertheless, they weren't really on screen for long enough for it to really matter, so I'm not going to dwell on it that much. I didn't really understand why I had to see him kiss though. I didn't leave that out. I don't need to see that. 25-year-old high schoolers. Yeah, selling Omar Epps as a high schooler was really funny to me. And even, I don't know if it's Sanaa or Senai. I don't know. I'm sorry, but yeah, they were not high schoolers, and I didn't buy that for 1 second. But in the suspension, to put my mind in suspension of disbelief, they are high schoolers. I have a quote. I'm pretty sure Gabrielle Union says this. She says, "Look at that booty. I just want to lick the sweat off it." Yeah. Yeah. It popped me. I laughed pretty hard. Good line. Funny line. I like that. My next note here says these meetings his dad are having are definitely sex. That was telegraphed, like, from the start. There was no, there's no suspension of disbelief there from me, at least. That was very blatant. And I'm sure it was supposed to be, but, I thought it was very funny. It was like, oh, I gotta go to a meeting. It's like, yeah, we know what that means, bro. You're not slick. Okay. I'm not gonna read that note because it's not important. I enjoyed their unspoken bond for allowing them into each other's house, or specifically the boy getting allowed into the girl's house. What are their names? Shit. The boy's name is Q. Q getting allowed into. I normally write their characters' names on here. Monica. Yeah, sorry. Quincy and Monica. Quincy specifically going over into Monica's house. Whenever his mom and dad started arguing, because they not really did a good job of establishing that, like, this is a common troubled issue. So a common troubling issue that he has to deal with. I need to stop mumbling. Boop boop boop. The story of her not getting recruited and then suddenly getting an offer, I thought it was contrived, and then it became more rooted in a sense of reality when it became known that she was offered the starting point guard says only because the other girl got pregnant and she couldn't come anymore, which is a really fucked up thing to say to another person. But anyway, I'm gonna move on from that. I really enjoyed the fact that, like, she didn't hit the game winner in the high school state championship game. I like that they built adversity for her, and not like everything was given to her. She had to continue working hard and everything like that. And she just, every chance and opportunity she was given, she just worked and did the best she could. I really enjoyed that aspect of it, the grinding aspect that we all love as basketball fans, at least me personally. Um, my next note here says Gabrielle Union is so fine. Yeah. My next note here says so cool of this college kid to come to prom. That's not creepy or weird at all. Yeah, it's really cool. Actually, I've heard once you go to college, once you've graduated high school and you go back to prom, I hear that's actually really cool, and people actually like that a lot, and it's not creepy or weird at all. And yeah, you should definitely do it. My next note here says, Quincy saw Monica in a dress and literally just walked away from Gabrielle Union. In my note it says, dude saw her in a dress and said, "Got." That's kind of why I was laughing. My next my next note says, I enjoy the way that the two protagonists have distinct personalities, but enough similarities to make them relate to one another. And I think it really sold their couple and their relationship status. I think it sold them as a very believable couple, and I thought that you know any reality that this movie that could bring out, that was the reality, was their actual relationship, because a lot of the actual moving parts around the movie felt a little rooted out of reality. um you know uh like, how much does a banker make in 1980 whatever, that they live next to an NBA player in Los Angeles nonetheless? Like, I don't know, man. Or how little do NBA players make in the late 80s? You know, that's just my question, I guess. Um, who knows? But I guess he was saying later on in the movie, the Quincy's dad was saying, like, we've got enough money to keep us for a while until I can figure something out. So maybe it's not as lucrative as it is now. Um, at least for some. Um, but I'm gonna move on here. I thought it was funny when she said that the dude that brought her to prom, the college guy that I mentioned, was very, very cool for taking her to prom from college. Um, all she's trying to do the whole time he's like kissing on her and stuff is trying to remember how many rebounds that she had. Thought that was pretty funny. Thought that was a great line. Um, the over romanticized like overall tone and feeling of this movie was really funny to me. It was just like really, it was just cute, honestly. I thought it was fun. Um, just overall, I enjoyed this movie, but it was more of a movie that you really have to like suspend the disbelief for. And I enjoyed it. I lightened up like halfway through the movie. I was trying to give it shit, and then I just accepted it for what it was. And I made it so much easier to not be like a snidey son of a bitch about this movie, and it made it so much easier to like. And I really enjoyed it after that. I want to say like an hour. Actually, it was like maybe 30 minutes. Like, I was getting a little worked up, and then I was like, just calm down, man, and just watch it and accept the movie for what it is. I think I was trying to put it on some type of like level or whatever, or trying to like, I don't even know, but I lightened up, and I really started to enjoy it. But moving on to my next note, Sidra talking shit like she wasn't getting worked. The starting point guard talking a lot of crap, and she could not really back it up, to be honest. And that's when she was. This is the starting point guard in college. Um, when Monica got to USC, she she goes, the only reason you're here is because that other girl got pregnant and couldn't get here. And it was like, what the fuck? Because I worked your ass in practice? You're insane. Yeah, and then she got hurt, and then her career was over. Well, I guess not, because she went over and played in Italy, but you get the gist. I'm gonna read this thing, David. Yeah, the one thing that I didn't understand about that scene, though, before I move on, with Sidra and Monica, is Monica has been, they're selling Monica as like having like anger issues or like being hot-tempered, and I don't know if this is like a way for them to show like a building block moment where like she's able to keep her temper or not, but I felt like if I had written the movie, Monica would be fighting. But I also understand that that has like further implications that if you try to hush away don't make any sense, and if you did have her fight, that you would have to have like a scene where she gets reprimanded, and you'd have to have a scene where like she was sitting out games and stuff, and I wouldn't have added anything, and it would have like taken away from the overall story, and so I understand why it wasn't done, but at the same time, those are fighting words, and uh, she's better than me. No, I'm just, I wouldn't have done shit. The next note I have here is an exchange between Quincy and Monica when they were playing a game of strip one-on-one on a little basketball hoop inside of Quincy's dorm, and she goes, "Where's the D?" And she turns around, and Quincy's fully naked, and he goes, "It's right here." And yeah, it is his dick. That he meant D meant for me. D stood for dick. Do you get it? My next note here says, "Glad that the conflict is more about mental health than any type of outside actual force." It's like them dealing with their own like personal conflicts, and that's what drives them apart, rather than, you know, well, I guess there's a girl, but the girl is more of like another aspect of his mental health not being 100% when I don't even really know what I'm trying to say here, but like Quincy goes and tries to bring that other girl in, um, which is wildly disrespectful. Your girlfriend comes over, and you're like, "Oh yeah, here's this girl. I'm about to take her on a date." Like that. Oh my God. I would have never spoken to Quincy ever again in my entire life if somebody embarrassed me like that in front of other people. I would have killed him. I don't know about that either. I'm not about it, but I'm just saying like if I were there, if I were a character in a movie and I had no repercussions for what I was doing, that's what I would do. um I have a note that's about a specific in the game in one of the games that is just not relevant if you haven't seen the movie, so I'm not gonna do that for the review. And then this last note on this page says, "I don't understand why Q is now lashing out since his dad cheated on his mom." I don't understand. Like, does he think like now, like, oh well, I don't have to be a perfect man because my dad wasn't. If my hero is not a perfect man, why do I have to be? Like if that's actually the stance that he's taking there, like he's wildly wrong. And I feel like that's a lot of the things, like the all of the conflicts are absolutely drastic overreactions. And perhaps that's life. Sometimes that is just life. And then we're all very easy to let go and forgive. So maybe this movie is more human than I think, or maybe more human than I want to give it credit for. Um, but yeah. Um, I said Q is so in the wrong for everything that he said to her when he broke up with her. And he was. I mean, like I just said, yeah, everything was such an overly drastic overreaction. Um, that it was honestly just funny. There's a spinning shot of the Barcelona coach talking, and I don't know if it was doing it in circles to kind of give off the impression of like your coach talking to you in a language that you don't understand, and like how dizzying that may feel. And maybe that was what it was speaking to, because it was the only real like super dynamic shot other than the basketball scenes, obviously. But it was the only real like super dynamic shot that had anything to do with the storyline. So I think maybe that was the effect, and it definitely worked because I was dizzy as shit. So that definitely worked on me. I'm gonna skip that note. I'm I'm gonna skip that note again. It's just more drastic overreactions. One from Quincy later on. I don't even remember what it's for, but I just said I don't empathize with him. I don't feel that way, but you know, this movie is so like it pulls you in so many directions. You like almost feel the emotions in the same type of way that someone would if their heart was being broken or like if they were in love. So I think it captured that really well of like how hard you can feel emotions when you're in a relationship or whatever. But yeah. Um, the film is full of like 6 self-centered people is the full cast. Is like just 6 of the most self-centered people that you can think of. But they all have good hearts, and I think they have good intentions, so it's endearing, I think. Um, yeah. Moving on. She's abusing him. He's a man with a hurt ACL, and then I said, "Oh, never mind. He worked her." He took the brace off his ACL and was like, "All right, well, I'm not letting this happen," and absolutely took her to town. And then I have the quote, "All's fair in love and basketball." I really enjoy that. I loved it how they established it and then called back. I enjoyed that a lot. Um, just overall, I just thought it was a well written movie. The dialogue was really nice between the two characters, and the relationship was really well crafted. And if that's well crafted, I mean, I think you can pretty much do anything. Because if that's going to be what the movie predicates on, that's all that really needs to be well polished to the nth degree. And again, this is her first movie, so I'm not really sitting here expecting a masterpiece, but it was a really good movie. I don't want to take away from that at all. Um, my last 3 notes are about the basically the final ending scenes. The first one says the WNBA, and the second one says Lisa Leslie, and then the third one says Wright McCall. Basically, their Quincy's last name hyphenated with Monica's last name. And I have a little crying, smiling emoji, and then they have a little daughter, and it's very cute. I'm about to go to break real quick, and when I get back from the break, we are gonna throw this on the list really quick, or I'm gonna give actually some final thoughts when we get back from the break, and then I'm gonna throw this on the list, and then we're gonna be done. Thank you. Okie dokie. I am back, and final thoughts. Okay, so final thoughts on this movie. Going into it, I didn't say that really at the beginning, but going into this movie, I had an expectation that it would have a level of corny to it that I was going to be able to swallow, and I was right. It is a level of corny that I am able to swallow. It is overly romanticized. I will say that over and over. But it is a great movie for you if you want to watch a movie with your significant other, or if you want to watch just a cute movie. It's a very, very cute movie. It has a happy ending. So, if you watch this review as a way to hear about it and you're interested, it's an interesting one, and it definitely has a good plot. I enjoyed it. It was a fun time. I would watch it again if I caught it, on TV. It's just a fun movie. I can't say that enough, really. But I guess without further ado on that, we can go to the list here. And I'm gonna go ahead and throw it up. Love and Basketball, I gave a 7.1. So it's gonna actually tie with El Mariachi at number 7. And it's gonna be over Morvern Calar and Paris, Texas. So yeah. That's gonna be how that dribbles out. I didn't even do it on purpose. Oh man, I am genuinely laughing at that because I didn't do it on purpose. I'm not even joking. Oh my god. Wow. All's fair in love and basketball, eh? Um. Okay, moving on from that. Into promo hour. Okie dokie. So this will be coming out Monday the 24th. So, obviously, if you've watched this, I very much appreciate that. Next week on FNF Self Tapes, I'm going to be watching Blue Velvet by David Lynch from 1986. I think that is one of his firsts. It's one of them. One of the ones up closer. I don't know. I think Eraserhead is his first movie. But Blue Velvet from 1986, nevertheless, David Lynch. That'll be next Monday. And then this Friday, I have Finding New Films coming out with the main show. Coming out with Kris. He'll be sitting in the chair that I'm sitting in. And we'll be discussing the 1971 film Walkabout. Which is an Australian film that was directed by Nicolas Roeg and written by someone I can't remember the name of, but it's right here, actually. It's written by Edward Bond. So that was a really, really good movie. So go check that review out. That'll be out this Friday. Another thing you can check out is the Basement Tapes. That is me and Trevor Dupree, and we will be doing another episode maybe the week after next. But check out episode 2. We talk some work stories. We talk about Israel Adesanya's very awkward post-fight call-out to Drakistel Duplessis, and then we also talk about peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So anything you want to hear, we got it all there. And then if you want to hear even more, we have Greg and Jeff Give the Hi-Hat. That is a show that I produce, so you can hear my voice there. I don't know how much you'll see me on there, but you'll be able to hear my voice for sure. And this past week, they talked about Greg's trip to Chicago, and my dad, Jeff, built off of that by giving some of his trips from Chicago, some of his stories from there. They talked some of their old work stories, being on the road, doing shows and stuff. And then they also talked about music. They also had a long talk about music. So that was really interesting to be a fly on the wall for. So can only say that it would be great if you went over and listened to that, because it's very interesting, and I think they both have great perspectives and are great at talking to each other, because they've done that for 30 years now. So that's enough of me selling myself and my family. So I appreciate that. If you watch any of that or watch this, if you made it this far, I'm sure most people have turned it off at this point. But nevertheless, thank you. Tune in next week. I'll see you very soon. Follow us on Instagram, subscribe, like, comment, share with your friends, do all that jazz. Follow us on Spotify and Apple Music or Google Pod or wherever you get your podcasts. And yeah, I'm out. Good night. Mwah.